you please bring the cat food on a silver platter? What's going on, everyone? I'm Clare McKee, and this is The Know. On The Know, our goal is to share content that moves you, that makes you think, and encourages relatability, vulnerability, and collaboration. We had to start with a bang, you know we did, so I'm eager to share with you our two amazing guests today. We have Jocelyn Lomahan and Fernando Cortez. Jocelyn Lomahan is a wife, a mom, a realtor, Mrs. California International, a Filipino, and she's in a very serious relationship with coffee. Jocelyn, come on out. Hi! So good to see you.
So good to meet you.
Thank you for being
so
here.
Happy to be
Get
here.
comfortable.
Thank you.
So, what do you think? This is exciting.
This is pretty swag. I love it.
We are so excited, and we're extremely grateful that you're going to be our first guest today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So why don't we start out by sharing with the world a little bit about who Jocelyn is?
Well, you kind of hit the nose on the nose. Like you said, I'm a San Diego native. I've lived, I've loved living here all my life. I've never left, which naturally I became a realtor because I want everyone else to live here too.
Yeah.
I've been married to my husband. We just celebrated our 17th year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
That's
I have
amazing.
two girls, Sophia and Ava, who are in high school and middle school.
So you're a busy lady.
Just a tad. So that and managing my real estate business. And I just came back from competing at the Mrs. International pageant. I represented our wonderful
So
state.
crazy cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So how did you get involved with that?
You know, right place, right time, or wrong place, wrong time, depending on how you look at it. But, you know, growing up, I was really, really shy. I mean, I was very self-conscious, you know, as any teenager is.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Right?
Being a girl is hard.
Yeah.
I know the men have it difficult too, but like being a girl when you're going through that awkward phase.
It is so hard. And so, I mean, I had bad acne, and I just, you know, was, you know, really like kind of self-conscious. And, you know, I was sitting in a class and, you know, Filipinos, like parents, you have to study, you have to get good grades.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was always just like down in my books and looking around, and then, you know, next to me sits who ended up becoming my best friend, Gasper. He looks at me and says, "We're gonna be friends." And so he totally brought me out of my shell and introduced me to pageants. And I was like, oh, there's no way I could ever do that.
No
but,
way.
You know, 20 some odd years later, here I am.
So you've been pageanting for 20 years.
I know, you know, on and off.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, like, you know, in college and in my 20s and stuff, but then kind of stopped and had babies and did all that fun stuff.
And got back into it. Good for you.
You know what? I think so too. I mean, because the word pageant really is a celebration. It's a celebration of just being the woman that you are today. I mean, you know, I know people have preconceived notions of what pageants are, but, you know, really, you're just going up there and just being your best self, which is what we do every day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and actually, that is so in alignment with my other project, Passion to Paycheck, and it is literally we get to be our best selves for a living, and we cover the people who get to do that. So total alignment. I love that.
Good.
What would you say is like the number one takeaway or thing you've learned from being in pageants? What has that taught you?
You know, it's taught me a lot about just being comfortable in my skin. And when we think about a pageant, it's so subjective. I mean, it's 5 different people's opinions on that particular day. So you can't go there expecting like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna win and, you know, this and that. You go there just to be your best self. Like I said, I mean, you know, everything from being fit, I mean, working out, being disciplined to not eat those carne asada and nachos when you want to.
The burritos that are on the table over there,
And then working out, but then also just kind of like really like taking a look at your inner self. Just finding out what you're passionate about. I mean, in the pageant, like we get to pick a platform that we talk about. And mine is Character Counts. And, you know, as you know, I'm really faith-based, so a lot of that really resonates with me. And it's just talking about just the things that kids need to learn to be their best and to carry those characteristics with them throughout their entire lives.
Absolutely.
My girls play sports, so those character pillars, you know, they're applicable anywhere. They're applicable in our workplace.
Absolutely.
So,
well, and what I'm hearing is that it's a holistic approach, right? Like it's mind, body, spirit. It's
Absolutely.
being healthy. It's being able to speak. It's doing the right thing. So what an amazing thing. So you are Mrs. California International for this whole year, right?
Yes. January will be the next one. So.
Oh my gosh. So what does that entail? Do you have to travel around? Like what happens now?
Yeah, you know what? Now that the big pageant is done, it's just a matter of continuing spreading the word about my platform.
Okay.
And really, having other women say like, wow, that's pretty cool what you did. I would kind of like to do that.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you all about it.
Yes.
And just really like getting more women to be involved and just to say like, hey, just put yourself out there. You just never know. I mean, being in the pageants has helped me in my career too. I mean, being able to speak in front of an audience or one-on-one in a situation like this, I learned all of those things by doing the pageant.
And also, a little birdie told me that you took an improv class.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Tell me about that.
It was so fun. Okay.
It's on my bucket list, so I'm like, selfishly, I want to know everything.
It was on my bucket list too. So it was one of those things of like, oh, I'm not really funny, what? But I was having lunch with some girlfriends, and we were just all talking about what's going on in our lives. And one of the gals said, yeah, I did this improv class to help me with work.
Okay.
And I was like, huh. And when you think about it, it's true. You're learning to speak speak off the cuff.
You're reacting.
You never know what situation might present itself. So I was like, you know what? It's all about taking risks, right?
Yes.
Taking risks is what helps you improve yourself.
Get out of that comfort zone.
Absolutely. So I signed up that night. And it was over in North Park.
Okay.
The National Comedy Theater. I can't remember exactly where it's at. But it was great. I mean, and what the funny thing was, in the group, 3 of us were realtors.
No way.
And we all did it for the same reasons. We said, hey, let's do whatever we can to help with our listing presentations, because you never know what kind of questions they're going to fire back at us. So it was really funny.
That is so cool.
I learned a lot of things from the improv class. First of all, that I'm not funny.
Are you sure?
I mean, it was a neat thing, but it's just getting on stage like, okay, so this man walks into a bar and you're like supposed to have this great punchline and you just freeze.
So what do you do in that moment? Because that's what it teaches you, right? Like
the best takeaway from the improv class was if you're gonna fail big.
Okay.
So when you're in there, you're like, so the man walks into the bar and you don't have a punchline, you're like, ta-da! You just kind of like let it go and just say, thank you everyone.
Do you do this in front of an audience?
A little audience.
Okay.
You're among your classmates.
Okay.
And you do have an opportunity to do it in front of an audience, but I didn't get to that second level. But I highly recommend it. I think it's a really neat
totally
thing.
Gonna do it.
And what do you have to lose? Nothing. Everyone there is super supportive.
Yeah.
Some people are there because they seriously want to get into improv.
Yeah.
Some people are there like me that just want to, just do something out of our comfort zone.
I think that's so cool because oftentimes when you think of improv, you're like, well, I'm not going to be an actor and I'm not a stand-up comedian. Exactly. Like, what am I going to do with this? Exactly. But it can really help you in your everyday life and your business too.
So we'll see you on stage pretty soon.
I'll be sure to let you know for my performance. I don't know how funny I am either. But well, Jocelyn, if somebody is looking to find out more information about, maybe getting some Java with Joss or finding their next San Diego home, what is the best way we can get in touch with you?
My phone number, I'm always on my phone. It's 858-204-2323, and my website is really easy, The Key to San Diego.
Okay, Jocelyn, so I know you think the interview is complete, but I actually have a little surprise for you. Are you ready?
I think so.
So we're gonna play some cornhole, but this isn't just any type of cornhole. Have you ever played before?
Yeah. Good at it, but
You don't have to, well, you might want to be good at it today because we're actually going to play the truth or dare version of cornhole.
Okay. All right.
But we're going to have some little fun. Are you game?
I'm game.
Awesome. Let's go do it, girl. My next guest is Fernando Cortez. He's a former MLB player, hitting and fielding instructor. He's the founder of Fernando Cortez Baseball Academy, his nonprofit teams, and he's also self-titled Megatron Hand Juice. Fernando, come on out. I threw it in because you knew I had to. Thanks for being here.
Wait, hold on. You said self?
Yeah, self-titled.
That was actually handed to me.
Oh, was it?
Multiple people. Yeah.
Multiple people.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Cody.
His brother,
Okay.
all the teammates.
Okay, we'll just
Yeah.
like put their little heads over your shoulders in post-production, and they'll pop up like Megatron hand juice.
Yeah.
So Fernando, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background. You have an amazing story, so let's just kind of start there.
Well, grew up in San Diego, California. Played baseball, basketball, football my whole life, and somehow, some way, baseball decided to be the path that I went. Played college baseball and then played professionally for 10 years.
Amazing.
So,
did you play locally here in San Diego? What teams were you on?
yeah, I actually went to Helix High School.
Okay.
And then I went to Grossmont Junior College for 2 years before I got drafted.
Amazing. So got drafted out of the JC.
Yep.
What is that like as like a 19, 20-year-old to make it to the major leagues?
So I signed professionally when I was 19 years old. So I'm just a random kid in San Diego coming out. I get on the plane. I'm flying into New York City. I go down to this small place called Poughkeepsie, New York, and then all of a sudden I'm on a team with just a bunch of different people. So I'm 19, starting out my career.
Had you really traveled out of San Diego at that point?
I did once when I was younger.
Okay.
In a baseball tournament. I actually traveled to Canada one time. Outside of that, that was the first time I've ever been on an airplane by myself.
So a little culture shock, I'm sure.
For sure. And you know, I get down there and I think, you know, as a competitive baseball player, that I think that I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an All-American. I just came out of college. And I remember just touching down into New York and then meeting all the other guys, and I looked around and I was like, okay, I'm not that good.
Like they're all really good,
They're all
huh?
good. Every single one of them, they're all good. So
A little humbling, I'm sure,
very
right?
humbling. And that was day one.
Day one.
Day one, I knew I had an uphill battle.
Yeah, no kidding. So what position did you play?
So I was drafted as a shortstop.
Okay.
Most of my career I played shortstop, second base, and third base. So
Okay.
middle infield. Later on in my career, I ended up being a super utility guy. So I played every position except for pitcher and catcher.
Dang, that's like a thing. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You play all the positions and football and basketball. Is there anything else, Fernando? Do you want to tell us your skills?
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Just those aforementioned.
Yeah, just those.
Awesome. So if you were going to turn into the world's most interesting man tomorrow, why would that be? What would you be known for?
Most likely, probably something that I created, something that I invented,
Okay.
Some type of idea that I think could help the masses, that could help the world.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what that is.
I was gonna
but
say.
but I'm always searching for it, and if I
So,
did,
thought leader.
I'll let everybody know.
Okay, yeah, let us know. We won't steal your thunder, but you can come here and talk about it anytime. We'd love to hear that.
Anytime.
Amazing. So, fast forward to today. What does your life look like?
So right now I'm married. I have 2 kids. I got a dog. So I got a pretty crazy household.
Yeah. Full house.
Full house, yeah. Nothing like the show, but it's definitely full. I run a baseball academy. I have a nonprofit organization, which is my travel baseball teams.
Okay.
So I do a lot of private instruction with youth. So I got, clients that are anywhere from the age of 6 years old up, to 21 years old, depending upon what college you're in. So I'm really trying to tap into a lot of these kids' talents, not only from the physical side, but the mental side.
Okay.
And then obviously having the experience and knowing kind of what it was like to go up to those rankings to see what I can do to help them out.
I love that you mentioned the mental side, because obviously you can be the best athlete ever, but if your mind isn't right, or best businessman, best anything, you have to have your mind right. So is there a particular philosophy, quote, or mantra, if you will, that you kind of live by or that has really helped you?
Well, with baseball is, out of all the sports I've ever played, it's really a life lesson. So if you're failing, 70% of the time, you're actually good.
Yeah,
one of the best players. So it was one of the things that we always had to deal with, was how to deal with failure. And one of the terms or, mottos that we always said was turn the page. It's kind of like a book, right? So you're reading the book, and you don't ever want to go back to the previous chapters. As you're reading, you're moving on through,
moving
you get to
forward.
the next page, next chapter, to get to the end of the book.
Sure.
If you're never moving forward, you don't ever really get to the end, and then you can't go read the next book that's gonna give you knowledge.
Yeah.
So with baseball, we could never get too high on our wins. We could never get too low. It was really mastering on the mental side how to stay even keel. And I played with several people that were probably head and shoulders way better than me, right? But their highs were way too high and their lows were way too low. And the people that could actually stay consistently, on the mental side and turn the page and just keep moving, those are the guys that I've seen that had the most success. There's
Absolutely.
tons of talent out there physically, but like you said, mentally, if you can put that in with the physical, it's a game changer.
It's where it really separates you, and that's so true. One of my favorite coaches ever, a softball coach as a child, always said you have to have a short-term memory in this game.
Absolutely.
Short-term memory, because the next play is happening, and you can't be thinking about that last flub up that you did, right?
Yep, exactly. And then at the higher levels, a lot of times it's these guys are actually making adjustments, not game by game, but at bat by at bat, pitch by pitch. So it's very quick where they're actually making those adjustments and having to turn the page, as opposed to, in high school you might have a game on Tuesday and then you have it on Thursday. When you're playing every single day, it literally has to, you have to consolidate that thought process, and you got to do it per pitch.
Absolutely. You don't have till the next game. You have till that next pitch that comes out. Absolutely.
Yep.
So I think everybody has an incredible story, and, being a professional athlete, people may think that your life has always been rainbows and sunshine and butterflies, but what is maybe a hardship that people don't realize about you that you've had to overcome in your life?
Well, I mean, like for me personally, like I grew up without a father, so it was just my mother and my sister that pretty much raised me. So not having that father figure to kind of guide me through the sports world, right? I had to kind of figure that out. I had some really good coaches, some really good mentors along the way, but essentially they weren't with me every single day. And then as I got it, past college into professional baseball, the biggest thing is you're away from your friends and family forever. I'm 6 months in a whole nother state, and then I come home for a week, and then I'm gone in another country, for 3 months. So the travel takes a toll. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret any of it.
Sure.
But at the same time, to really build a life and build a family and build the normal things that maybe somebody would want, it's not as easy as one would think, and it isn't really that glamorous all the time. It can be bits and pieces of it, but you're fighting against a lot of things.
Absolutely. So you've come out on top. What would you say is your proudest accomplishment thus far?
Well, I think if you were to ask me that question, years ago, I would say, reaching the pinnacle of the sport that I was wanting to get to, which was baseball. But now it would probably be family. It would be, my wife, my kids, my dog, my wife and I being able to, instill different ethics and morals into our kids and really plant that, into our kids going forward. I think that's probably what I'm most proud of, and seeing what we've created. Yeah,
that's a beautiful sentiment. So, tell me about your baseball academy. Is that based up? Tell me where is it?
It originated in San Diego, so Rancho San Diego, so East County.
Okay.
I actually moved to Temecula, so I moved it up there. So I have a facility up there where I do a lot of filming. I do a lot of online instruction for people across the country.
Okay.
And I do a lot of private individual instruction in person there in the Temecula Valley, so Temecula, Marietta. I do have people who still drive up from San Diego, so if people are in North County or anything, they still have access to me.
Yeah. It's kind of a central location, though, actually, in that hub there. You're not far from San Diego. You're not far from Riverside and even Orange County.
Yeah, and I have people that come down from Orange County or Corona, so they'll come down, and it's it's right off the freeway. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that I had a place of my own and that I could kind of display what I've accomplished. Things. Wife actually wanted a lot of stuff out of the garage.
Yeah.
So
the truth comes out.
I can take it out of the garage and I can put it in there. It's almost like my little man cave.
There you go.
You get a lot of work done there. Got a lot of hitters that come up, and honestly, we're in there just trying to get better.
Amazing. If you had one tip for an athlete out there who's thinking about upping their game, what's the best advice you can give them?
I would say just work ethic. Like if you're working harder than anybody else, who knows what can happen. Somebody might physically be better than you now, or like I have a lot of kids where my travel teams, right? They're 12, 13 years old, and they have all these other kids that are, better than them at the time and getting all the accolades now. It doesn't really matter at 12, 13 years old.
True.
Now I have some of those same kids who are now committing to two Division I colleges because they always had their work ethic the same, creating the fundamentals, creating, the day in and day out.
Yeah.
And then physically, when they actually catch up, they're night and day against that other player, because the other person was always just relying on talent and what they were physically at the time.
I was going to say, or physically they're just head and shoulders larger than the other
kids.
Don't
think they have to work.
Yeah, but that
and then the
consistency.
Guy who works for 6-7 years, all of a sudden just shoots and takes off. So my biggest tip would just be, whatever you're doing, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, business, whatever it is, if you're constantly working, you're getting better every single day, at some point it'll shine.
And that's a great takeaway for anything in life, right? Just be consistent, be disciplined, and eventually you're going to see the results.
Yep.
Well, Fernando, I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to share about yourself and your amazing story.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
I have a question, though.
Yep.
How good are you at cornhole?
Is it a game?
It's in a game. Oh, yeah, of course it's a game. And you're probably really good at it.
Do I have to compete? I mean, I don't know how good I am, but if I have to compete, I might be decent.
Oh, I might be decent. Well, you're in luck. We have, okay, so Stone Brewery is amazing, like total sidebar. They have not only huge grounds outside, but inside as well. So we're gonna go outside and check that out. We're gonna play some cornhole, and it's actually truth or dare cornhole. So
Okay.
I hope that you are very good, because you might have to do some weird things if not.
Okay.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You down?
I'm down.
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool.
We're back and we are still hanging out right here at Stone Brewery in Escondido, and I just want to give them a shout out because this place is huge. First of all, they have so many awesome little seating areas, fire pits, and they've got games. So we're gonna play a feisty little game of cornhole today, actually truth or dare version. So before we get started, Cody, why don't you come over? This is our judge, my partner in crime, Justin Cody Warden, the man with 3 names, and hit us with the rules.
I was wondering when you were going to let me actually come on TV. I mean, I am a part of this, aren't I? Okay, all right, I'll be quiet. So, very simple game. Cornhole, if you haven't played, you're going to throw a beanbag filled with corn onto a board. If you miss the board completely, one of you, or whoever throws it, will have to do a dare. And that I'm picking.
Okay.
If you make it on the board, but it doesn't go in the hole, you have to answer a trick question that, again, I'm going to be picking.
Okay.
Now, because we have Mr. Baseball and Mrs. California International,
You have to do opposite hands.
I'm expecting some pretty high quality shots here, so if you make it in the hole, you get to pick truth or dare for one of your opponents.
Okay.
Fair enough?
That's fair.
Okay.
Take it away.
Do it.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
We have a miss. Mrs. Jocelyn Lomahan.
Yes.
If you were at a Kanye West concert, show me the dance move you'd be doing.
Yes!
Or like this. Hey, hey, whoa.
All right.
Nice.
We have one on the board. So, Clare McKee, you are going to answer a question that you must answer truthfully. How would you rate your looks on a scale of 1 to 10?
Are you serious? You picked that one? I'm gonna give myself, I think I'm a solid 8. Yeah?
I said
That's
truth. This is a
pretty
game of
truthful,
truth,
yeah.
Claire. Claire, you got to answer truthfully.
Cody, do you want me to go lower?
All right, Fernando.
All right.
On to the man of the hour. Make it happen.
All right. I threw a left hand. You guys told me to play the other way.
Oh, you dare.
So we picked dare.
Yeah.
They picked dare.
Would you like Fernando to also dance like he's at a Kanye concert?
That's tempting.
Normally I do that.
Call a Chinese restaurant and order a pizza.
Okay.
Go up to a Stone Brewery server and ask them if they're ready to order or if they need some time to look over the
That's
menu.
the one.
That's the one. That's a
That's
good
the one. I need you to go up to a server.
Or we can have them eat a piece of cat food.
Oh!
He can wash it down with some
That's-
Stone Brew afterwards.
You got good beer, cat food it is?
I'll eat the cat food. I don't care. I'll talk to the server too while I'm eating the cat food.
Double dare.
Double dare!
Double
Throw
dare.
your
Cat
first
food
card.
And talk to the
Okay.
server.
Cat food's coming in.
Could we please bring the cat food on a silver platter?
I get what? Like one
One
nugget?
morsel. You
No,
get one
like
little nugget.
One nugget?
Yeah.
Okay.
A nugget of your choice.
Hold on. Let me take my gum
Yeah,
out.
you don't want that to stick.
So this is, I mean, it's protein? We got protein in this?
I think it's chicken. Chicken is the main ingredient in the cat food that I purchased for my pets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they hyper? Or does this tame them down? I need to know what's
They're
going
in
to
the middle of their life,
All right,
so you know
so-
it's not
so-
like kitten food.
It's like a raisin.
No, it's not.
Where?
A raisin.
Yeah, like it just
you want
disintegrated.
another one?
Nope, I'm good though. I'm good though. You put my gum back in my mouth.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute blast, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Bye, everyone.
Appreciate it.